This winter, in the fighting game universe, the fighters of the world will compete on Blaze Blue, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 3rd, The King of Fighter 2002, Unlimited Marvel, and King of Fighter 13. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Soul Calibur 5. Super Street Fighter 4. Cash prize $5,000. And for the first time in Europe, tournament of Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Street Fighter Cross Tekken. 3 days, 15 tournaments, until the winner. Fight with the VIP. Live fight. Knockouts. Watch the match. Warning. Warning. Attention please. Warning.
CROSSCOUNTER.
Thank you for sticking around. Welcome back to CROSSCOUNTER Live. Steve, what does the chat room have to say?
The chat room, Gootecks, said that was a very nice trailer.
Well said, well said.
Thank you, Steve.
Anyways, we got two very special guests holding it down for the fighting game community for years and years and years, longer than most people have been alive.
Correct.
One of them is one of the commentators that you may have seen at EVO for years and years and years now. The other used to be holding it down for the front page of SureYouCan.com. Now he has moved on to greener pastures and now runs the Ultimate Fighting Game Tournament in the Midwest. Both of these guys combined together form. Wake up, SRK. Oh, they're already there. They're already there. What's up, guys? We got Keits on the left and Skisonic on the right. How you guys doing?
Hello. I'm here for the Cyber Foursome.
Oh, you came to the right place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I here for the? Am I in the right place?
Yeah,
yes, you are.
You guys look nice.
Oh, thank you. We just got to do this little interview first, but once the cameras are down, then we can get on to business. You know what I'm saying?
That's why Adam has the shade up in the back, man. We're ready. Shogi screen, man. I'm ready.
It's good to see you, gentlemen.
You too.
We got you guys here, and we figured now is a good time where we can just kind of just talk about fighting game, community, plans, what you guys are up to, EVO, Soul Calibur, Cross Tekken, everything. UFGT, is it going to be 8?
Yes, 8.
Congratulations with that, man.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, we were on hiatus for a long time. The first 6 of them took place really early, like 1997 to 2002. And then I kind of retired from fighting games altogether until 2007, and then started running them again.
What made you come back?
What made me come back to fighting games in general? I guess the reason I quit was because I moved out of Cincinnati, Ohio to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and found that there was no scene. And without anyone to play, why play? So what I ended up doing was quitting for a while, and my interest sparked up again when an old friend called me and said, hey, meet me halfway at Midwest Championships in Chicago. So, you know, a 3-hour drive, not so bad. Went over there, and he didn't show up, but I had a great time. I got top 7 in ST, qualified for EVO, went to EVO, and got hooked. So Excellent. I've been back ever since.
Awesome. Yeah, because I know, you know, that you were pretty much kind of known as Mr. TVC, you know, while the game was
known
around.
as a lot of things, man. They were calling me Mr. SNK for a while. I was playing KOF and Fatal Fury, and then I got into TVC. I really like combo-heavy games like the Versus series. So Marvel vs. Capcom 1 was my first competitive game. And just natural for me to want to play a game like TVC and now Marvel 3.
Okay. And what about you, Ski? I mean, for those that aren't familiar with, you know, with the work that you guys do, tell us a little bit about, you know, how you kind of came up in the scene and the work that you've done throughout the years.
Well, I started in tournaments with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I was really into that game. It was just kind of something that we all played in the area. A friend of mine just told me on one Saturday, hey, we're going to this tournament, and drove us to Philadelphia, and that was next one. I saw Justin Wong there, and the rest was kind of history. I started doing originally a very informal podcast with Bunke called Alphaism Radio.
Alphaism Radio.
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of a classic. You know, at the time, it was just something we were all kicking around doing, but it was so much fun, and it really kind of struck a chord with the community. And on that, on a few occasions, I did play-by-play commentary for people that were at home before there was any streaming. You know, I tried to bring home what you couldn't see.
Yes.
So that kind of kicked things off for me as far as commentary was concerned. Then streaming started at EVO, and the opportunity arose for me to do something there. And that's kind of where I've gotten to being, you know, a fairly well-known commentator. People tend to tell me that they see me all over the place. I don't think I get around that much, but...
Oh, we see you.
Yeah, we see you.
We're watching you.
Yeah, so Skisonic, I got a question. This is kind of, you know, off topic, but this just reminds me of just SRK. You know, you mentioned Marvel 2, I think, back in the day, and it's a question that I probably always wanted to ask you. You know, if you can think back, I don't know what you have now. I'm not sure, but your avatar back in the day had a dude with like a hat and a stick, and I just wanted to ask you, where was that from? It's just
man,
it's a personal question. I just never asked. I don't know why.
That was Ninja, dude. It was like this Flash animation that they made 12 or 13 episodes of, and they never finished. But Ninja was like the sickest thing. It was like, did you ever hear that intro on the Wu-Tang album where it's like a little kid and he's talking and it sounds all ominous and epic? It's just like the Sting intro, the WCW, like when a man loses his everything. Like it was like that. It was just like that. They had 13 of them, and I waited like 2 or 2.5 years for the final chapter. Final chapter never came out. They were supposed to make a movie. Movie never came out. But the Flash animation really struck a chord with me. I thought it was really awesome. And the image of him being tied up and bound and dragged across the land, just, I don't know. I guess I was kind of emo.
I mean, it was just one of those. It was just one of those questions because, you know, I see Skisonic, I see him getting hype, you know, and Marvel on the commentary, always popping off, playing the game, getting hype. And then, you know, when I see his avatar, you know, I'm expecting to just see, like, you know, chains, guns, and everything. And then I saw that, and I was like,
oh, wait a minute.
There's something I'm missing. Like, I don't quite make the connection here. But now, thank you. Now it makes sense. So now
that was before I had this hat, and he's wearing the same hat I'm wearing. So I guess it worked out.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
So tell us a little bit about the stuff you guys are working on. How did that come about, and where are you at now?
Who do you want to go first here? You want to talk about Wake Up SRK a little bit?
Oh, actually, Keits, I want to know how you got involved in SRK and how you kind of built up, you know, and started working on the front page and all that.
It's actually kind of a just work ethic story, I guess. A lot of times I would show up to tournaments back in the day and want to shake everyone's hand and want to help. And, you know, lift TV, run a bracket, whatever anyone needs. And I ended up doing that at EVO as well and you know, talking to Joey, Mr. Wizard, a little bit. And then the front page opened. for writers. You know, they gave pretty much anyone who asked an account to write, and pretty much only 4 of us ever wrote a story. And I was one of only 2 people who wrote more than twice. So it kind of fell to me by default.
Nice. And then, so from there, you decided, you started doing the podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had met Ski. The first time I met Ski was at a Seasons Beatings tournament. We absolutely hated each other. There was a lot of
that's the part
about
great
partnerships and Smash, and we were just at each other's throats. And during some argument at some point in a chat room, we somehow discovered mid-argument that we were on the same side of the argument. It was really weird.
Wait a minute, you see things the same way?
Then we became Keits and Skisonic, and we started talking a lot more. And we were like, hey, man, we get along pretty well. We have some good chemistry. We should do a podcast because I think the community could use one. And it came together actually probably a year or year and a half after we first said that to each other. And it was tough at the beginning. You guys have done shows. You know how rough it can be right at the start. But I think we found a good rhythm, and we're still going.
Well, we are still trying to find a good rhythm, and it is still rough now, but...
It's still rough.
Yeah, no, props to you guys, because I know you guys are putting in some hard work now.
Yeah, I mean, how many episodes are you guys up to now?
We are at 86 or 87 recorded episodes and 6 live episodes, so we're over 90 weekly episodes. We've only taken about 10 weeks off.
Damn,
wow.
You guys are so consistent.
Consistency is everything.
Now, for those that may not have heard Wake Up SRK, what is you guys' like what kind of spin do you guys put on everything? Because, I mean, obviously, when you guys started, there weren't that many, fighting game content producers. Now, it almost seems like there's a new show popping up every week.
Yeah.
So what's you guys' take on things? Like, what's your strategy? Like, how do you guys approach the way that you talk about fighting games?
Well, the show sort of developed into us bringing a little bit of the news and a bit of audience interaction where we take comments and try to read those. But the genesis was just to have an interview with somebody and have an in-depth kind of laid-back conversation with what now is we try to get a notable figure in the community or just someone who would be interesting to talk to. But originally, there was kind of a dearth of guests. It was when Street Fighter 4 was kind of just popping off, so there weren't your sponsorships and your weekly superstars. There weren't as many tournaments. There weren't as many people to interview. But now there seems to be like a new celebrity every week. So originally we just kind of had whoever was around and just kind of talk about Street Fighter and get their perspective. And that's what's really important for us. We try to get different players' opinions on, whatever's going on in the community, whatever games are coming out, techniques, tactics, strategies, their opinions on other players. Because for us, what's important is different players think about the game and they think about the community very differently. So we just like to get everybody's perspective. That's why you'll see a few recurring questions, a few topics that we like to really stick to, because it may not really click for you when you listen to Justin explain something, but maybe when you listen to Steve H explain it, or maybe when you listen to Viscon explain it, or Ryan Hunter explain it, or Lord Knight explain it, then maybe that is what it really took for you, and then maybe you can take that jump into being a high-level player or something. And we just want to bring some of all of it to everyone.
Nice. Yeah, so that, of course, begs the question, where do you guys want to see the community go?
Ooh, yeah. It's good to ask other people the questions that we think about.
That's why, I know how it is, right? You're always doing the talking, so then you get on somebody else's show and you get to tell them. So we want to know, where do Keits and Skisonic want to see the community go?
I don't know if we've really talked about this with each other, so I'll go first. I guess, you talk to different people, they have different opinions, like you said. Talk to James Chen a little bit. He likes the tennis model. I'm a fan of the poker model, personally. I want to see things go in a direction where a bigger percentage of the players get paid out, not necessarily in huge amounts, but I want to incentivize people who are the guy who shows up at 2 tournaments a year and turn him into the guy who shows up at 5 tournaments a year, and really just try and grow the scene that way. I think it's really great, all the people that you can meet and make friends with in this community, and I just want to share that with everybody.
Excellent, because I noticed, you're doing that kind of model with your tournaments, right?
Yeah. I tested it out last year for the first time, and it went over really well. I talked to a lot of top players who are the ones who would be losing a tiny bit of that top-heavy pot about it, and they also feel like it would grow the community long-term. So I gave it a shot. Pretty popular. The baseline goal of the whole system is to make sure that if you make it into the payout, that which is the top 10% of players, that you get your entry fee doubled at the very least. That way you still feel like you won. So if it was a $10 entry, you get 20 bucks, you go buy 20 double cheeseburgers.
And you're good to go, absolutely.
Poverty.
Yeah. Success Kid agrees.
What about you, Ski? Where do you want to see it?
Well, I gotta say, I watch a lot of StarCraft 2 these days. So that esports money it's kind of enticing.
Yeah.
And I think you guys kind of know how that goes, right?
Yes.
I think that more sponsorships, more serious sponsorships, and more money injected in the community would go a long way in legitimizing us in this community in the eyes of, the more casual fans. But I think for what we've been doing in just competitive games and growing and making our own shows and having more tournaments, I think that what's going on right now is really cool. And it's interesting to see that there are so many people that I think will maybe never go to a tournament, maybe go to one tournament, and they're just fans. They like to watch, and they maybe play a little bit online. I think that's really cool, but I think in the long run, we should try to get more people out. And I think that it's great that we're all producing this content that will entice people to come out. And that's what I really want to see. I want to see more 1,700-man tournaments, more 2,000-man tournaments. I want to see more weekly tournaments that are big. I want to see more money in the scene, and I just want us to be able to stand equal with that community because. And I watch GSL, and they have ridiculous production values. I watch MLG, and they have all these sick commentators that have been picked from the creme de la creme of their community, and all these sick players come out from all over the place. And I think that we can have something like that, and it doesn't have to be necessarily one of their tournaments. But I would like to see us being on that level in the long run.
Excellent, and I definitely agree with that. Well, look, can you guys stick around? We're going to take a quick break right now, but we're going to come back with some more Skisonic and Keits.
Sure. No problem.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Cross Counter.